Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged.
Hey, you guys. How are y'all doing today? Happy Saturday. Make sure my phone's on silent because the security system goes off for everything and it's really loud. Oh, okay. How are y'all doing? How did we get back here? Let me just go ahead and start with that before I come in and start saying hi, because I really want to know what you guys are thinking about the fact that we are having to come back and discuss Dot and Brat Norton again. I honestly never thought this crap was going to come back full circle. I thought that we did a really good job at finally being able to prove that this was all a bunch of bullshit, including Dot and Brat themselves coming out on not just Melissa Jade's channel, which is the clips that we're going to be watching, but on several different dates, several different platforms. Like, they've come out and admitted this several different times that it was all bullshit. So I don't know how we got back here. I also am not aware of everybody who is now making this relevant again, and I'm not here to call out names. All I'm going to say is this. If you are putting together information to try to prove a point, and you are on a platform where so much information is that deproves your point, why are you even bothering? Because there's no way that you didn't see all of this information whenever you were gathering what you were gathering for your information, if you know what I mean. There's no way all these different channels and all these different platforms proving this, including, again, their own faces on camera, their own admissions. I don't know how you just missed this stuff. Now, again, I don't know who's going to pop up in here. I honestly don't care who pops up in here. All I'm doing is letting people's voices speak for themselves. I'm not here to put my own opinion out there. I'm out here to give my opinion. That's what my damn channel is for. But when it comes to the truth, again, that's on y'all. I'm not going to, if however y'all want to feel after the facts is however y'all want to feel. But regardless, the story is fake. The story is about as fake as it gets, and they both admit to it. So to sit here and give this any sort of credence when it is an unverified, unvetted, fabricated, confessed to being fabricated story is not justice for these victims. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's the same level of bullshit as mainstream media and their sensationalism and everything else. And again, when the truth is out here, quit the shit. What are you out here for in the true crime community if you're just going to keep putting out a bunch of lies? It's hard enough to try to keep track of all the facts. And it's bad enough that whenever we have to keep track of all the facts, even that stuff can be misconstrued. So why, if you actually care about victims and justice and truth, do you want to continue to push a false narrative to just muddy up what's already so damn unclear? I think this will probably is like the reason why I'm so pissed. I just saw that y'all were talking about y'all can't see each other. You can't see each other. Do y'all have each other blocked? Because I think you have to like block each other to not be able to see each other. Oh, and just wait. Oh my God, the little orange one is so cute. She's so tiny. Oh my God, she's so tiny. That's crazy. Y'all should definitely be able to see each other. I can see you both. Like I said, I don't want to name names, but there's at least 2 people that have gone in and like really put some stuff together and has a lot of people thinking that this is like a true story. And we had this exact same issue when it was all debunked. Like, if you've been here for a while, then you already know the name of the channel that did this. But this big channel, who's even bigger now, that I really used to like their editing skills, the way they put the stories together, chef's kiss. But I don't have time for you to play like you're stupid and come out here for views and lies. They literally went into, it was either Rory's or Evil CJ's panel where all the Dot stuff and her confessions and stuff are being played out. And they listened to the confessions of these people admitting that this was a false narrative, made a comment about how they didn't believe any of it. They still thought that the story was real. They don't care how many times basically that people say that it's fake, and then put an entire video together, making this like sound real with the way that they do their really good editing. Because again, they're really good at putting it all together and making it look legitimate. And it got hundreds of thousands of views, and all of the truth that got put out there about this being fake got completely drowned out. And that's why we're here again, because somebody wanted the shits, clicks, and giggles instead of the truth and the truth and the truth. That's all it freaking comes down to. And that's why we're here again with people still thinking that this is a legit story. There you go. That one, which again was really disappointing. I really, really liked that channel for a super, super long time. And seeing them comment that in the panel where it was all being discussed and proven to be false and doing what they did, just like, are you out here for truth or what are you here for? Because you just did like a lot of damage that we took weeks to try to figure out and wade through. And just like that, you destroyed it. You destroyed the truth. It was upsetting. It really was. So whenever they finally came out, Brat and Dot, and started telling the truth, I was really hoping that it was going to get a lot of views. I mean, I think this one video has like 17,000 views or something like that. But a lot of the stuff with Dot herself, a lot of people didn't really see that because it wasn't like a Dot specific video. She jumped up on a panel. But the Brat specific video, that one has like a lot of views. It was very, driven. I just want the truth out there. That's all I give a shit about. Okay, we're going to start watching this. Okay. What you're going to hear here is not only Brat, not Brat, this one's Dot's. You're going to hear Dot jumping on the panel and bringing up 4chan, saying her version of how her and Brat Norton found each other, where the story originated from, how it's not a vetted story, and all the manipulation, all the different things, all the different little schemes. And again, you're going to hear the very matching information in Brat's story. The let's create this and let you use my backup TikTok or my fake TikTok account to come in here and post this. All those things and all those other manipulative things and all those other little setup operations validated on both sides. Validated on both sides. Thank you for the 149. Thank you for the 149. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, you ready? You ready? Oh, we're just getting started. I've just been running my mouth for 30 minutes, bro. You're good. We're starting on them right now. I've just been running my mouth. You ready? Let's go. Well, you can't really say that, though. People can make accounts and it not be like you wouldn't notice that it was their account. So you can think that. So she might have told you that. I mean, I don't know. But we can't say so-and-so wasn't on so-and-so because we don't know what everybody does. We don't know what everybody does. And that gets proven all the time because people have been married to people for 30 years and find 20 different damn things online that they've been doing for 10 that everybody's been just hiding stuff. So just because they weren't on there as Brat Norton or like some name that was obvious or she didn't admit to it doesn't mean that it's not true. Again, I haven't seen receipts for any of this kind of stuff. I know that some stuff was sent over to Melissa J, but it was really just like bad screenshots, stuff like that. Again, we're just going over what they said themselves. And then you guys can take the facts as stated by these very people who started this whole thing and decide yourselves. Let's get going.
Saying that there's a lot of stuff that Brad is saying that was said.
Sorry, Brad. It's not.
And it didn't happen. And
it's not Brat's story. It's never been Brat's story. It's Kaylee and Maddie and Xana's and Ethan's story. Let's get that straight real quick. Okay.
I'm saying that there's a lot of stuff that Brad is saying that was said.
Sorry, Brad.
And it didn't happen. And like at the end of the day, I made a lot of mistakes and I'm not here for people to believe me or anything. But I didn't say 90% of what is being said in those messages. And I just don't think it's fair, Like if you want the truth, you can have the truth, but I don't think it's fair for her to say these things upon me, and I didn't really say those things,
Okay. Did she ask to record you though?
No, she never did. And like the whole story, how everything played out is nothing of what she's portraying it to be. And I'm not saying that I didn't make mistakes at all whatsoever. I'm not. I'm just saying that it's like now that these things are coming, like these are very criminal things that are being said, and like I don't want to have any part of that.
Yeah, no, I agree because this isn't the first time this person does this. And Melissa makes a really good point here later on. It's like way later on in the live. She's like, I watched you on a panel cry tears like this really happened to you. And you were really scared for your life to come out and tell this story just for you to now tell me that the entire thing is fake. I watched you cry, have a mental breakdown over something that had nothing to do with you. Yeah, that kind of mentality is really scary.
Let's start here. How did you reach out to Brad?
This is the honest truth. I met Brad in a 4chan. I was in a 4chan when all of the entire thing started. When people were trying to figure out what was going on with the Idaho 4 case, and I was in a 4chan and I was talking to somebody in a 4chan. There was when a lot of people were speculating about a lot of different things and theories, and there was a chat that I was in, and that's where I met Brad. And
for one, this is a woman. Okay, let's call it what it is, not the illness. This is a woman. And no, I don't believe any of that, because as much as she tried to say that she didn't believe it and didn't believe it and did believe it and didn't believe it, she literally sits there on Melissa's channel and says, oh, there was all these red flags, but she was pushing the narrative to Steve Goncalves, and she admits that herself. She sits there and say, oh, I still didn't believe it all the way. I still just wasn't sure. Oh, but let me give you my fake TikTok so that you can jump in here and pretend to do another narrative for me. Okay. Yeah. No.
She shared her theories and I shared mine, and that's where we became acquainted with each other.
And then how did it evolve into I was there?
Right. Well, yeah, so there was a person that talked to me, and this was on me. This was my stupidity, and I should have.
See, this is one of the excuses that I'm honestly really sick and tired of hearing. You're not new to being an adult. You're not new to dealing with people on the internet. She'd been on Facebook and Instagram for years. She says so herself. This wasn't somebody stepping into the world of social media for the very first time, not knowing what's out there. She's also a grown-ass adult. So I'm not going to sit here and listen to, it was her first case. It was her first case. It wasn't her first time on social media. It wasn't her first time doing anything when it comes to lives and talking to people online and seeing what's going on. So we're not going to do that. That's just as ridiculous as we're not going to ask Mr. Kohberger why he did anything because some FBI agent 3,000 years ago said it just wasn't going to make sense to anybody with a normal brain. So we just didn't bother, just not going to bother asking. That's the same concept. I just don't really play that kind of stuff here. We're not going to play that kind of stuff here.
Never, believed this person or took it for face value. But Brad was telling me that this person was telling me the truth, but they didn't want to come forward, and they needed somebody to come forward with what they were saying because they wanted to be protected. And that nobody, if I came forward with it, that nobody would really question me because nobody knew me and nobody would recognize my voice or anything like that because it wasn't this person. And I did it because I thought I was doing something that was going to be helping this other person. Little did I know.
Honey baby, this is a woman who believes that they are transgender, that has a dead name that starts with an E, that now goes by Braden. This is a woman that looks just like Summer Wells' mother. If you want to be serious, if you want to try to get a glimpse in your brain about who this person is, this is a female that presents as a male, but is not. This is a woman with lots of issues. So we're not going to do that. We're not doing that.
That all these things were going to transpire and there was going to be this snowball effect. And then it was like, I couldn't get out of it because so many things were being said. And it was like, okay, now I don't know where to go from here, and that's the honest to God truth. And I should have never,
she's like my age or older. Like I'm 37. I'm 37 and a half. She's definitely older. You see, okay, if you go to, well, we might watch it. I'll pull up the Riley Lively TikTok here in a few minutes. Actually, no, I'll show you guys right now. because it's in the description box of Mel's video. But it has like a little clip of Braden yelling and screaming about how dare you question me? Oh my god! So you can see that this is definitely it's somebody who you'll see. I'm just going to show you guys now in case y'all didn't watch it when I posted it the other night because it was like hella late. I think it was like, I don't even know, like after midnight.
It was at a party, you know, at the apartments nearby.
Now I'm going to tell you who Dot is, okay? They have fabricated this entire story to help push misinformation that Bryan Kohberger is innocent and other people might be responsible. They're helping push the narrative of Emma Bailey.
I know Emma was there and Emma's boyfriend.
And they got mad at me on Brett Norton's live last night and yelled at me because how dare I question them?
Hold on, let me finish. It is disgusting to me. It is literally disgusting to me that somebody like you.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet Braden, a longtime troll
Watch
of
the face. Here
various
it comes.
creators across TikTok who spews lies and makes things up for attention.
That's Braden. That's Dot.
About me, you degrade me, you put me down, but I'm not allowed to speak my mind. I'm allowed to speak how I feel.
What about how the
That's a woman. That's this person. That's this person. So we're not going to sit here and like have sympathy for somebody who's out here doing this. I don't care like what what the excuse is. They knew what the frick they were doing. They're both grown-ass people. You don't need a freaking handbook on how to not be a shit human just because you suddenly have a TikTok. That's a given. So let's quit playing games.
Never put myself in that position, and I should have never trusted somebody.
Similar, yeah.
And that's on me. You know,
no, baby, I promise you, this is a female. I know that it's hard to understand because their voice is deep and they wear their hat backwards and they got chunky cherub cheeks. This is a woman. This is a woman. I promise you. There were people. The way that she got outed in the first place is that her camera slipped, and people that knew her from her previous trolling little gallops through the internet recognized her face the second the camera slipped and called her out by name in the live. This is a chick.
But I don't want to be the way that those messages are portraying a conversation as nothing of what Brett and I talked about. Brett, I have like screen recorded messages that I can send to you in an email where Brett talks about how much she was adamant to send me money. She asked on maybe 7 different occasions that she wanted to send me money for a book with Howard. And
now I'll pause here because Brad admits this. She literally says in the live that we're going to go over tomorrow, she offered money. I'm going to stop every time something is said that Brad's going to admit to, because I understand a lot of people want to say, oh, this person did all this. They're both responsible. They're both responsible. But again, it's up to you to decide who manipulated who and who used who the most, because who had the most to gain here by allowing this kind of shit to continue? That's who you really need to think about here. So again, Brat did offer this person money on more than one occasion, and Brat will admit to that herself.
I said, I don't want any money, nothing. I don't want anything to do with this. I don't want.
Yes.
She offered an alternative TikTok she had for me to get on. I did not want that. I didn't want my face show, nothing, because I thought I was doing something to help somebody else out.
There's no voice.
And she was all about.
So you're saying that somebody else's story was that this is what they witnessed, and you came out and spoke as them?
Yeah, I'm saying that Brett and that person asked me to tell the story as if it was my own. And that was it was for me, the only reason why I decided, yeah, you know what, I'll go ahead and do it is because I truly, in my heart, I believed so much in what this person was saying and that they were so afraid. And I'm like, okay, well, I could have the ability to say this. Nobody knows who I am. And if they did find out, it wouldn't reflect on them. It would reflect on me. So the information that I got was exactly from that person, but I told it as my own story. And the reason why I'm coming forward and saying this now is because at the end of the day, like, it was a poor decision on my part, and I can understand where people come from and thinking like, well, you know, why would this person say this and that and whatever, but like there's another whole thing that happened, and the whole manipulation that I had to deal with Brat and stuff like that, and like people don't know how much I was manipulated. And at the end of the day, I'm a grown person, and I could have stepped back and said no, but I was vulnerable in what I was going through in my life. And
that's another thing you're going to hear Brat constantly say. And I want you to really pay attention tomorrow. And I'm going to reiterate it tomorrow. Every time Melissa goes on the accountability rant, and she's trying to get Brat to just like say certain things, to like admit that she actually understands like how not okay any of this was. Brat's instant reaction is, yeah, a couple seconds of silence, but you don't understand like how difficult it was to deal with this person because they'd keep us up at 5 o'clock in the morning and blah, 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 blah. And it was all about self-preservation instead of the problem. They both do this. They both try to play victim in the situation, and they both are like, and I that's so disgusting. It's so disgusting because Brat says the same freaking verbiage in her freaking interview. It's just so disgusting if you don't believe me, but whatever. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to not point out the similarities of ridiculous here. It's just not going to happen. You already know better.
She was glorifying this idea of, you know, Howard Bloom. I'm a writer. She knows I'm a writer. She knew I was a writer. And her constantly talking about Howard Bloom's going to get your writings. Howard Bloom will get your writings published. And like doing that, like, yeah, that.
Prove it. Because I've yet to find the actual proof of that. That's what one person wants to tell you, and that's what you want to believe. That's fine. But when Brat admits that she let her use a fake TikTok or her backup TikTok, that she wanted her to come into her live and start talking about Enon Harsh being the DoorDash driver, when she admits to all these other things, like you can sit there and take up for her all you want to, but baby, it's not going to be well responded to here. It's just not.
That was something that intrigued me. I mean, it really did. You know, I can't lie.
You're an accomplice in being a shit human. Probably not the first thing that you should probably be trying to admit to, because it's not a good look, honey. It's really not.
It wasn't, because
that's not true either.
Somebody who's been writing for a long time, and to have an author like that be interested in me, that intrigued me. So that was part of what was the driving force behind me continuing to talk to her. But she offered me money on several occasions, and I turned it down. And I even have screen recordings where she said, I've offered this person money on 7 different occasions. They turned it down. She offered to cash at me money, like all these.
And again, Brad admits to this. Yeah, I asked her. I offered her money several times, and she turned it down. That's like that's one of the things that both of these people are saying. She's saying, I didn't take any money. It wasn't about money. She offered me money. I turned it down. Brat's saying, I offered her money. She never took any money. She turned it down. There's like a $7 thing for an Uber ride that, again, Brat wasn't even responsible for. Somebody else sent that. That's like the only part of this that really they agree with.
Things that I turned it down. So if I was this person that was just about clicks or views or money, I didn't even have a TikTok. I didn't have a YouTube. I didn't accept any money from her. Like, there was no other reason for me to have inserted myself unless I thought I was doing something that helped somebody else, really genuinely help this person. And unfortunately, it was a poor decision, you know?
But do you know whose story it was that they were asking you to tell?
Well, yeah, it was this. There was a whole thing on 4chan.
Okay, so you're about to hear her talk with the 4chan shit, but let me tell y'all what was really going on here with this. The way that it was brought to YouTube is that Rory, I don't care what these idiots in the chat are saying, because we all lived it. The people that were in on this and try to figure out what's going on, we all lived it. We all watched it. People that are going to take up for their friend's side, I honestly don't give a shit about. We all watched Brat and Rory from Thou Shalt Not Kill talk about a burning vehicle and talk about how that burning vehicle belonged to Bridget, who was a real friend of Dylan Mortensen's. And, oh, this is who the witness actually was. She was there in the neighborhood and she saw this. But it went from, oh, I was outside smoking a cigarette on my balcony at the apartments behind or next to the house and saw people in the backyard, to, oh, I was in the backyard smoking a J with Emma and Bailey and all these different people, to, oh, I was in the house and saw all the wounds and all these things. The story just kept on evolving into a bunch of stupidity. but the basics for who they were trying to pretend the story came from, we were being told basically from Brat's side of the camp. And again, this is in a live that people have clipped and reacted to. So even if Rory or wherever the frick the original was has deleted it, it's in 1.5 million other places. So the internet's forever. I don't give a shit what anybody in here is trying to say. It's out there. We were trying to be told that this story was really Bridget, Dylan's friend's story, and that's who they were protecting. And oh my God, Bridget's life's in danger because oh my God, the car's on fire. No, all of that was fabricated when it came to who the car belonged to. It apparently really was Dot's car, and that's something they both talk about. Brad admits to that in her version of this we're going to go over tomorrow. It was all a bunch of people getting together with one person in common for getting all these people together and telling the narrative. It's the one person that's the problem here. Yes, all of them are the problem, but the one person that's orchestrating everything is the biggest freaking issue. Okay. The Dylan thing, the connection with Dylan, that was apparently not really ever a thing, but brought into the situation in order to get the most attention. Because if you just say you saw something, yeah, people might care a little bit. But if you say, oh, and I'm this person's friend who's this important figure in this story, you're going to get a whole lot more attention. And the whole thing about it being anybody related or even knowing Bridget and Dylan is a lie that they both admit to. Because again, Brat will say the exact same thing tomorrow.
Like, I have all the messages that this person...
Can you send them?
Yeah, I can find them and send them to you and email them to you. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that went on with 4chan. Like, there was a lot of theories being thrown out, but this person, what the story that I told was what they told. They said they were, at a party nearby. But see how everything gets twisted is, even when I told the story for this person, I never said ever that I lived there, ever did I say that. I specifically said there was a party at an apartment nearby. I never, even though I was telling the story through that person, I never said I lived there. I never said anything about knowing, being friends with Dylan and all this stuff like that. Like, none of that stuff was said. There is so much stuff that she enhanced and made to be bigger. Like, she would text me over and over again and say, like, hey, I'm about to go live. This is what I want you to say. Or I think Eden is the DoorDash driver. Or I think Howard's working on a book deal with this. I'm going to film for this. Like, I just need you to be on a 3-way call for this. Or just say this even if they say this to you. And I showed receipts to people about that stuff, and I'm not excusing what I did in my part.
It's not all lies. Brat admits in the interview that she did with the same exact channel that she did give Dot her fake TikTok account, that she did have her come in to her live about Enon being the DoorDash driver as another person to try to push that narrative. Those are not lies. Those are real things that Brat literally admits out of her own freaking face. So you cannot sit there and tell me that you were there and then sit there and say, oh, these are all lies when Brat literally admits to all of it. It's amazing. It's amazing. You just can't with people, I swear. Thank you for the gifted membership, Kimberly. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
But I'm saying that it was, she wasn't this innocent person that was trolled by me. She knew about me from the very beginning. And not only that,
I believe that. I don't give a damn.
She preyed on knowing my vulnerabilities and that person that was telling their story and used that. And then once I was in with her and talking with her, I started to trust her, and I told her things about my life, my personal life, and she would get into arguments with me and then try to say, hey, you know what, I could tell this about your life. One specific thing, was with my gender, and that was something that I held very close to me. She told me she sleuthed me and found my old Facebook account and found out that I'm the LGBTQ, and, that she could expose that. And she found my driver's license, and when it did a background check on me, and all this stuff, and she had my address. So then there's some fear that started to happen when this.
Okay, so that's another thing you're going to see in common with both of them. Now, she is claiming that Brat went and did a hella deep dive on her, basically found her address, doxed all of her information, not like doxed her information. I mean, I don't know if Brat shared this person's information with anybody. I have no idea. But as far as I know, it wasn't really put out online. All we know is that she was born a woman, and she goes by a boy name now and lives a whole different kind of life, okay? But other than that, you're going to hear Brat also claim the same thing about her, that she then was basically like doing things that threatened her life, that was freaking her out. There's apparently times where Brat called the cops and had the cops come out and call the FBI for her because she couldn't get a hold of anybody and all the things. But this is another, again, theme that you're going to hear from both of them, is both of them claiming that the other person was threatening them with their personal information and all the things. So again, I don't know if they got together to create these stories or not, but there's so many similarities. It's actually kind of stupid.
Stuff started going on, you know, and I've never spoke about Brat in this entire situation. And the only reason why I'm coming on here right now is because I want people to know that, like, I was not some troll that was like sadistic and like trying to convince Brad of some stuff like that. And like, and the stuff that's being said, it was not what I said. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean. Honestly, I think you were both in on it. One doesn't have to be wrong and the other doesn't have to be right. So unless you could provide actual evidence that proves what you're saying, I'm sorry, you don't have any credibility with me.
That's fine. I don't have to have any credibility. I just came on here to say that. You can think however you want to think. You know, that's completely fine.
Well, if you're saying this, then you sure definitely have the receipts to back it up, right? If these messages didn't go down the way you're saying,
right,
then you have them. They're your messages.
Well, what I'm saying to you is when you're reading these messages, you're reading them as if what she is saying is things that I said. And that is not accurate. You have all of your
interactions, right? So it's easy to prove.
No, but what I'm saying to you is that unless you have the...
This person came out as a woman named Dot. They also came out pretending to be a woman. You forget that. So we're going to keep it to theme here. Okay. You know, this person's a liar. Everything that they created is fabricated. And again, the story was simple. It wasn't anything insane. It was, I was outside smoking a cigarette on my porch and saw people outside in the backyard of 1122 King Road at like 8 o'clock in the morning. But I'm so scared for my life. I just don't want to tell the story because I don't know what's going to happen to me. If I tell somebody I saw somebody smoking a cigarette, what am I going to do? That's where this all came from. Something so stupid. Dumb.
Interactions of what I was saying to her, and then she presented it to him, then you're putting out hearsay. You're basically you're believing what she's saying. I read your
comments in Brad.
You must be deaf because I literally said my age like 10 minutes ago.
At Norton's TikTok. Did you not make those comments?
What do you mean? I don't know what that was.
You were commenting in the chat about hearing the screams, about Dylan. Do you want me to pull them up?
Sure, go ahead and pull them up.
You don't remember what you said?
No, I'm not saying that I don't remember. You don't have to be you don't have to be condescending to me. Look, I came in. All I'm saying is that if you want to provide information about what I said to Brad and that what she said to him, make sure that you have the receipts of her and I talking.
Then give me the receipts.
But I'm saying I don't need to provide that to you because
what are you mad at me about? How do you expect
because I'm not on a public platform saying, okay, this person said this and this.
Girl, you lied about a freaking quadruple homicide.
Look,
don't come up on my panel telling me about how I do things.
Look, this went south really quick. Yeah, all I wanted to say is that what is being said is not accurate. That's it.
Then prove it differently. I'm giving you an open opportunity. Prove it.
Well, I'm not.
We don't do snowflake words on this channel. I mean, but you know, still hang around. You know, even though you're gonna hate it here, have fun.
I cannot provide them right at this very moment. I mean,
will you though?
I can provide.
Why jump up on a panel and try to like, oh, this is the truth and this is my story and and then be like, I don't have to prove anything to you. What's the point? I don't know.
You the receipts of I provided your co-host. She read one of the very many receipts where Brett asks me to go into her live. I'm
And you
not
did.
saying that I was not accountable for these things. I'm not saying I'm some innocent person that was a victim of brat. But what I'm saying is that like she is making it seem like I was just like crazy troll person and she was like a victim of me and all this stuff and like all this stuff she said to Steve, and that's not accurate. And for myself, that's not okay to me because I didn't say those things.
To be fair, we're reading over the messages that Brat was having with Steve, and
That's a
you
lot
know
of
you're
messages,
part
too.
of that story, even though
But I never talked to Steve. I never asked Brat to talk to Steve. I never said
Right.
those things.
I get that, but don't be
he's a
angry
liar.
with us
No,
because
I'm not.
we're
I'm not
reading
angry with you guys. I'm not angry with you guys at all. I'm angry with the fact that this stuff was sent to him, and these things were transpiring, and it was like, okay, this is coming from this
But did
person.
you not think going out and doing this in general wouldn't get back to the families?
What do you mean? You have to elaborate on that.
Because when you put yourself out there and went along with this with Brat, you had to have known this would have gotten back to the families.
No, I understand that. I understand that what was being said would, but her directly contacting him and saying specific things that did not happen was nothing of anything that would have happened.
See, and I don't know if that's true or not. I know that Brat says that it's the opposite. She's going to say that this person demanded to speak to Steve Goncalves, threatened her if she didn't give over the phone number. I don't know which one is true. I just know that I've never seen or heard of any correspondence directly between Steve Goncalves and Dot. It's always been Steve G and Brat. As far as I know, these two never spoke to each other, but I don't know the truth on that story. I've never seen the receipts on either one. 10 months, Bluebird. No problem. I'm actually like, I'm honestly pissed I have to do this. This is not a story that I wanted to go back over, but we try to find the freaking, I'm not going through all of this and finding all the FOIA information and putting my face out here and doing all of this to just not find the truth, no matter where it ends up going. And even though this whole narrative leans more on the whole, we're not really quite too sure about what the state's telling us narrative, right? Like, we're really trying to figure out what's going on here. The Bryan Kohberger did this thing by himself. It's not really making a lot of sense. And even though this entire narrative goes that way to, oh, it couldn't have been Bryan because all these other things were seen. If it's not true, then it's not helping anything. If it's based on a bunch of false bullshit and a bunch of psycho freaks who are out here just having a bunch of fun, it's not going to help us get to the truth. So regardless of if it makes Dylan look bad or if it makes Bryan look better or if it puts this light on this evidence, if it's not the truth, it doesn't matter. If it's not the truth, it doesn't matter. So now that this story is going back around again, when we are in the middle of finally getting some real information and being able to get rid of some bullshit, bring in real actual facts in their place, this is, I don't understand. This is not what I wanted to be doing. I wanted to be going over the rest of the body cams, the rest of the documents, the real facts that we still have on the State of Interest website to go through. The facts. Instead, we're having to do this because I feel obligated to. This is not something that I wanted to do. I don't want to bring back the damn trolls that pop up in my freaking chat. I don't want to go back to having idiots coming over here. I got like this stupid privacy violation fake ass email from YouTube. Like, these morons think that I don't know what any real email from YouTube customer support or YouTube copyright bullshit or privacy strikes or anything. I know what those emails look like. I am not stupid to what this is opening up for me. I'm not dumb. Okay. But the facts are the facts, and the facts are this is bullshit. So that's why we're going through these again. You don't have to watch it, but we're going to go through the truth again.
Without her lying. Like, he might have heard something and said, well, I don't know. I don't think that person's credible. But she, like you guys have been talking about, she continually pushed this narrative of something that I said. And that's where the wrongdoing is.
Oh, thank you for the $9.99, Lisa. Thank you.
That's where I have a problem with that, because you're continuing to push something that I didn't even want to be a part of.
So you're feeling like she's making herself to look innocent and befooled by this? Because
No, I don't think she's not, obviously not. I'm saying that, like, when her and I had conversations, it was nothing of like me sitting there and talking to her for hours about, oh, this happened and that happened. It was nothing of that. Like, the majority of the time she pursued talking to me and would call me and say, Howard Bloom just needs you to give me this one thing and you'll have a book deal.
And that's another thing. Okay. Pay attention to like the way that she sort of like reiterates the things that Brett Norton said to her. And when you know the way that Brett Norton talks like a blonde-headed valley girl, the verbiage, the inflections are accurate. So whenever she says something like, girl, I just need you to do this one thing, Howie just needs you to do this one thing, and then we're good to go, like, I believe that. I can hear Brat saying that kind of stuff because I've seen her speak. I've heard her have conversations on the phone with Kane's wife. I've heard her on panels. I know how she talks. Nothing that I'm hearing when it comes to, oh, do this thing, and then you can do this, or I'm telling you right now, you can make all this money. Like, it all really tracks. And again, that's just my opinion.
This and that, and like, I repeatedly turned that down because my motive was nothing to do with a book deal or people for people to think or know of me. I thought I was doing something good, and yeah, I messed up. But my heart was in like, okay, I'm doing something good for this person. They're terrified to come forward. They think this is a good idea. If I do this to help them, this will help the outcome of things. That's where my headspace was. And I don't
believe that. I don't believe that at all. I believe the entire thing was fabricated from bullshit. I don't believe that it was anybody that was coming out and being like, oh, let me play the hero in this damsel in distress story. I don't believe that. I've never believed that, especially with how stupid the story was. What are you scared for your life for? Smoking a cigarette at 8 o'clock in the morning, seeing somebody outside at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's not you seeing a person doing anything criminal. That's not going to do anything. So many people said, oh, I walked by that house and the door was open. Or not so many people, but people had no problem like telling their recollections of that day. If they saw somebody in the yard, if they saw somebody walking by, if they heard a noise that was creepy, nobody had an issue. And it's, again, this person's not coming out and saying, oh my God, I saw the killer walking in and out the door. They're saying the story was, oh, I was outside smoking a cigarette and looked over and somebody was outside smoking a cigarette. There is nothing terrifying and life-threatening with that narrative. So right off the bat, your story doesn't make any sense because your story doesn't have any substance to it that would make it life-threatening and important. It's just a bunch of boo-boo. I mean, they couldn't even try. They couldn't even try. Thank you for the $2.99 for the coffee. Oh, I'm going to need it. Oh, man. Especially tomorrow. Tomorrow's live is going to be a lot longer because Brat really just knows how to talk.
Want to be portrayed as a person that was some sociopath or some psychopath or some liar. Like, I'm going to defend myself in that.
Yeah. She just said that she didn't want a book deal, but that she's a writer, and Brat used that against her to try to say, hey, if you do this one thing, or if you say this one thing, or Howie just needs you to say or do this one thing, then your book is going to get out there. But there's really actually like no proof that anything about a book deal or anything with Howie Bloom, whatever, when it came to any sort of promise to Dot, there's no proof of that being out there. This is, again, just conversation. But again, Brat does admit that she offered her money, that she still works with Howie Bloom, whatever. So, you know, if you want to connect the dots with that way, that's why I said you have to be like a 1%er. You have to take like some of what this person says and some of what that person says, but then take a step back and look at the things that factually happened. Just because somebody has a story, it doesn't change the past. Just because somebody wants to come out here and sort of and try to get a step ahead or put a narrative out doesn't change the things that actually happened that we can have receipts for. So you can have opinions on whatever you want to, but the facts are going to speak for themselves at the end of the day here. And the fact is that nobody saw anything and there's not a real witness that was ignored that people need to be freaking out about. That's just not how that went.
Something
Sure.
Was Rory from Thou Shall Not True Crime in on it?
I won't.
Made
I'm
a
not
video
gonna,
of a burning car to show your credibility. Prove it was you.
I can say to you that in regards to
You know what I wish they had? Like, if you actually wanted to like throw hands in chat, you know those little Rock'em Sock'em robots? Like, if they had little Rock'em Sock'em robots where you could just like on the side panel, if you wanted to fight with somebody that you're having an argument with in chat, side panel, and you start fighting each other, the loser gets banned. That'd be kind of cool, I guess. Someone's gonna steal that idea. I just know it. In a month, we're gonna see that as a freaking new thing on the YouTube update. Watch.
My car, that burning car, I can say to you with, like, I can send you the email when I get off of here that Brat was on a live, I don't think it was last night, but the night before. Don't quote me, but it was very within the past 2 days.
And reminder, this was February 29th, 2024, as you can see right here, but it's kind of behind the text.
Brat got onto a live. She spoke about, she said, I talked to somebody that was blank in this community, and I'm not going to put the name out because I'm not about getting other people and other communities involved. I'm not going to put the name out there. But she was speaking, referencing this different community that apparently that I was, so involved in.
Now, what Brat's going to say is that this is a substance situation, somebody involved with substances. I'll let those details come out all the way tomorrow, but that's what she means by this as far as Brat's version of that.
And she said, oh, and I found out this person told me that they set Dot's car on fire. Now, granted,
rock 'em, block 'em. Yes. Oh, that would be freaking awesome. They better do it.
I have receipts and proof that I have an active investigation over my car being set on fire. Like, from Kia, I have an active investigation. She went on a live and laughed about knowing that somebody set my car on fire.
So again, the way that this was put out on YouTube with there being a video with Rory and a couple other people was that it was supposed to be Bridget's car. That was the narrative that was being pushed on that live. And what you're going to hear tomorrow is that Brat is going to mention Bridget. She's going to say basically, oh, that's not Bridget. I was picturing Bridget in my head, when she pretends to be shocked whenever there's a camera slip and you can see Braden's real face. There's no freaking way. I don't care. There's just no freaking way, especially if you're going to let this person have access to one of your TikTok accounts where they can see your login information, your personal information. They could change the password. They could steal your shit. There's just no way. Girl, you got to make it make sense to make me believe it.
Like, that's the level of the person that I'm.
That's another thing. I was just thinking that, like, no, Kia is not. I mean, if you owed money on the vehicle and you were still making payments to the dealership, I'd understand Kia knowing about it. But the investigation would definitely be with the police. But there's video of this. I don't know if it's still out there on the original source. You probably have it. You get everything. I'm sure you got it. But the car was set on fire. Like, there was a video. It was played on Rory's channel. I don't know if it was Rory's channel, but Rory's face is the one that I keep seeing, like, as this stuff is playing. And then Brat's voice. I don't know if this was whenever Riley Lively was already involved in the situation or if that happened after the fact. The Riley Lively entering the thing. I'm not really quite sure on the timeline for that one. But there's a video of a SUV-looking car. The hood's up. It's on fire. Okay. Again, they tried to push that it was Bridget, who's a real person. So originally, while I was going around telling everybody the Dot was fake, I was saying what we were being told, that she's impersonating Bridget, or she's trying to pretend like she's Bridget so that there's some sort of like super connection to 1122, because obviously Dylan Mortensen would be that connection. But it wasn't. Again, I don't know where the original story came from. All I know is that in Dot's version, it's an unvetted source on 4chan that she maybe spoke to on the phone like one time. But she says herself that she didn't vet anything, and then Brat's going to admit that she didn't vet anything either when it came to Dot or anything else. It's just crazy, like all of the... I know it's social media, but I mean... when you a certain amount of decades old, you'd think there would be a lot more common sense in certain things. I'm just saying.
Dealing with.
Was Rory aware of what you guys were doing?
What? I don't know. I didn't never talk to Rory directly ever.
See, I don't know anything about that.
I knew she was talking to Rory.
There was a lot of people involved in this, and when I say a lot, that's the truth across multiple platforms. But what I don't know is how many of those people actually did speak to each other. I know that Dago and Rory were close for a while, and then that like went away. Dago also talked to Brat about this kind of stuff. There was also a lot on his channel when it came to Dot, WSU Kim. Then we, of course, had Rory, and then we had Evil CJ, and like there was just a bunch of channels. Then there's a girl named Luna that was also involved. A couple other ones over on TikTok. Riley Lively ended up jumping in. I think that London girl had something to do with trying to figure out things too over on TikTok. But when they say, oh, I didn't talk to so-and-so or I didn't talk to so-and-so, I can't rebut that. I can't validate that. I don't know. All I know is that there's probably well over a dozen people altogether that were sort of just like spiderwebbed into this with, I'm just going to be honest, Brett Norton in the middle. Because she was the one who would say something to Rory and do something with Rory. And then she would do whatever with Luna. And like, it was just a bunch of back and forth with, again, Brat being the one in the middle. So again, I don't know if Rory ever spoke to this person. I just know that there was communications all around somehow. I just don't know how direct they were.
When Rory went on the scene and he did like the whole walkthrough or whatever, and then she started to go on his lives.
I heard he's the one who brought this shit back out in the first place. It was Birdie's channel, which honestly doesn't shock me. With the track record that one has.
His YouTubes and talk about like Linda Lane and all that stuff. Like I knew she talked to him, but I never directly talked to him. Like, I don't know. She used to tell me that he got involved in some like weird stuff back in the day and that he could have been a part of it. I don't know because I was fed so many things. Like I didn't even know anything about these people when she started talking to me. I didn't know about Rory or all these YouTube people, like nothing. Like this was all fed to me by her. I was somebody that was just trying to, I thought I was helping. And
so Brad approached you with this other person, said that this other person actually experienced all this, was terrified to come out on their own, and they needed you to do it. Why couldn't they do it?
Well, they didn't approach me. We were just all in a chat. And then this Brat was talking to that person on 4chan. And right. I was a part of that group. And I'm listening and watching as the conversation is transpiring. And I'm saying, okay, well, you know what? Like, you know,
but what conversation? What was how did you get involved?
It was just like a chat room. Like it was in it. Like it was.
Now I don't get on 4chan. I don't know how 4chan works. I don't know if there's boards. I know that people can like go back and forth and like comment back to each other, but I don't know if there's private places for people to have like group chats. And also, we can't just sit here and keep saying Brett doesn't have 4chan because you really just never know. But I don't know. I don't know if 4chan has a place where people can like talk to each other like that. I don't know how 4chan works. I stay off of shady shit like that.
It was like a just chat. Like if you were in a chat room, like one person posts, "Hey, this is what this was," and then Brad posted.
I understand. I'm trying to figure out where it became. Okay, I will lie and I will come out with this story. How did that happen?
Right. No, so it wasn't like that. It was like this person wanted their story to be out there. And Brett was like, well, how are we going to get out there? And they're like, I will not put my name up there. I won't put my voice out there. Nothing. I can't do it. I'm terrified. They were adamant. They were like, I talked to this person on the phone.
Yeah.
You did?
Yes. I talked to this person on the phone with their real voice. They called me on a *67, but I talked to them and they were like, I can't, they gave me this information. And I have a heart. I was vulnerable and, and I was convinced. Brett was convinced. I
was so vulnerable. I was so vulnerable that I decided to make myself even more vulnerable by taking a fake story and being the face of this fake story and putting all of my stress and emotions out there on the internet, but I was so vulnerable. No, you're a serial troll. That's why I said it's hard to figure out who manipulated who the most and who's really gaining the benefit, unless it really is both. Because some people just do this because this is how they like survive emotionally. We've seen that a lot in this case. A lot of weird people come out with a lot of really insane narratives. And they get their channels taken away, they get their users' names taken off because they're horrible and they're stalkerish and they harass the shit out of people, and then they make another one and then they do it all over again because they need the attention. And by the end of the year, they got 25 channels and 5 people who actually give a shit because those people just don't understand. This is a constant, like, sick situation out here on the internet. Because again, this is not the first time that she's been okay with faking a story, manipulating things. Again, patterns of behavior. It's very important.
I was convinced. I don't know if Brad was in on it. I don't know. I didn't know anything about her. But, like, it was my poor judgment to go forward and make that story my own.
Did you offer?
What?
Did you offer?
Did I offer what?
There had to be
Are you
an
in this
Yes,
conversation?
I did offer. I did offer. Yes. I mean, it was not like, oh, hey, I'm willing to do this. But, like, at some point I was like, okay, I can come forward with this. And because I thought I was doing something good.
Did you not think that law enforcement would look into it?
No, they did. They deserved to. Like, it wasn't not anything about me thinking like, oh, I was being hidden or anything. Like, they did, and it was a poor decision on my part. It was wrong on my part.
Why was the narrative that you were scared to go talk to law enforcement? Because I remember hearing you on the panels talk about that as the character Dot. So why, whoever story you're saying this is, why didn't they go just talk to law enforcement themselves?
They said they were terrified. They said they did nobody would believe them.
So then explain why she wanted this exact same psychopath to take her old TikTok account, jump in on her live as a new character, and try to push the Enon Harsh as the DoorDash driver narrative. Y'all seem to forget the things that she's already came out and admitted to herself. Stop taking up for somebody who has already admitted that this is a common thing for them to do. Did she also get tricked so good by Dot that she allowed Dot to manipulate her own thoughts? And Dot's the reason. It's completely Dot's fault why Brat came up with this other plan to manipulate another narrative. Are we going to say that next? I can't.
Stuff that I said was what they said to me. They were like, they fed me things. Like, they were like, oh.
It doesn't matter if it was before she knew who this person really was. She still was going to use this exact same person to push another fake ass narrative. She says it herself. And if you guys have forgotten, go click on the link on Melissa's shit and watch it before tomorrow night's live, because Brat says it her damn self. Stop taking up for this person. I don't like Brats. I can say that I don't like a shit person because she's a freaking shit person. If you like a shit person, you're probably a shit person by association. Ugh.
Okay, like, I'm terrified. They're not going to believe me. All this stuff. How would I have known any of that? I didn't know anything about what the heck was going on.
For real.
The stuff the reason why, this stuff was presented.
Showing what people are saying out of their own mouths whenever they admit to doing something shady is starting a conspiracy. You must be the other BFF of Santa Claus, because holy shit.
It was because they were telling me things. I didn't know anything about what they were saying about the certain stuff that was going on. I only knew what they were telling me.
Well, I'd like to see the receipts. If you're willing to share the receipts, I'd like to see the receipts. I'd rather have the full context than not. But let me be clear. I'm not minimizing what Brad has done. I think both of you can be equally at fault. I think what you did was horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I do too. I 100% think that what I did was horrible too, despite the fact that I had good intentions. It was horrible. And I'm on here right now because I want to take accountability for that. I don't want to be attached and affiliated with all of the things that will go on related to Brat. Whatever she does in the future, I don't want that.
How am I twisting the words? I'm letting Dot speak for herself. I'm going to let Brat literally speak for herself. The only person twisting anything is you, because you're trying to pretend that things that happened didn't happen. And that's crazy to me. Do you need some ginkgo biloba or something maybe? Because, honey, this stuff actually did happen. It's facts. You can't erase history. It happened. Calm it down.
Because if I can start and turn over a new leaf. I can only do that if I am detaching myself from all that stuff. And I don't want to be a part of that anymore. That's the only way that I can make things different,
So
And it was.
I do have a question for you though,
That part.
Sure.
because excuse me.
No, I was saying thank you to Jack.
Oh, I do trust Riley, and Riley says that you've trolled in other communities. Like, what's the story there?
No, that's not what happened. And I don't want to get into that.
But she's going to get into that. Like she says for like 3 minutes straight, she doesn't want to get into that. And then Melissa asks her another question. And then instead of answering the new question, she jumps right into that. So you guys are about to hear about the Bebop and Bebe Boo Boo. Let me show you the pictures because you'll probably honestly recognize these people. I sort of knew about the lore before I knew that this was going to be anything to do with Dot's story. But this is the other internet lore story that she was apparently involved in, at least the one that gets mentioned here. There's apparently a few other ones, but this is just the one that was brought up at the time. Yeah, I recognize these people from just crazy internet stuff. But she's about to sort of explain a little bit about whatever it was that honestly, she doesn't really quite make it make sense. But that's the story that she is going to speak about being involved with.
I'm not going to get into that community of people. I have receipts. I have actual physical receipts of those things, and I'm not going to get into that because I'm not going to go with those other people. I don't want to start all that stuff over. But
but have you trolled in other communities?
Never.
What kind of things did Brat ask you to do?
So I'm just going to reference, there was a person named B. I'm not going to say their full name. But they were a part of a group that there was an influencer named Bebop and Bebe. They were a mother and daughter. I'm not trying to get off topic, but this is answering the question. They were a mother and daughter that did this family video shoot thing, and this B person started to...
Oh my God, I did hear that. So that was true. Okay. That was true that Dot popped up in the Sebastian Rogers case. I did see that before, but I wasn't sure. Please do. Oh yeah, no, I heard about it, but I didn't hear it. For real. There's some stuff going on in the Sebastian Rogers case too, just like some updates about stuff. So that's interesting. Yes, please send me that. Because she's bored. She has nothing to do on a Saturday night, just like, everybody else, I guess. Yes, please send me the links to all the things. Holy shit. Here's my email. I'm sure putting my email in the chat's going to get me like 5 more spam emails, but luckily I'm not an idiot. Like, I don't know what a privacy email from YouTube looks like. Honey, baby, I'm not new here. Oh, yeah, send it to me because I'm going to look all up into that stuff whenever I get off of here. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay.
Go live.
See, oh my God. So this makes this like even better, honestly, because how are you going to come out here and try to like apologize for stuff and say that you learned your lesson and blah, 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 blah. And then you end up popping up in somebody else's case because Sebastian Rogers is only like a year and oh no, we're popping up on 2 years in February. So we're 4 months shy of 2 years. That's crazy. No, see, I have a way to get the information out of the link without clicking on the link. So y'all can send all the links you want to, but I know how to work it. I've been here long enough. I've been here long enough.
Every night, and they were adamant that they were.
Girl, I believe I understand. Thanks for being in here. I get it.
As trafficked.
I know, I'm familiar with it, yeah.
And they were dissecting videos to ears, to angles, and they did this every single night. Well, Bebe got on a live, and so
now I'm gonna backtrack just a few seconds so you guys can hear that. This whole like Bebop and Bebe thing is what I was saying. How when you hear Brat talk about like the trafficking and taking of kids and all this other stuff, when she's trying to make it seem like she was being threatened with all these things. I'm not saying that there wasn't like threats of things happening. I wasn't there. I don't know. But when she says these very specific things, again, about trafficking and children being taken, it sounds like this Bebop and Bebe situation, because she's going to mention trafficking. She's going to mention how there was a lawsuit for all this crazy stuff. It just sounds like the same thing. And both of them are telling a different version of the exact same situation. That's how it seems to me.
That I'm suing this person for defamation. They have harassed me. They have put my daughter through, all this stuff. I'm tired of this person. They've lied.
Honey, you still think it's a he. I think you probably just like need to sit this one out because you've already failed.
They've done wellness checks. They sent a cease and desist to that person. And this person had claimed that they were part of this intricate S ring and all this stuff.
And it's so crazy because Melissa in Brat's thing, she's like, the problem is because people are still believing Dot. That's why we're here doing this, and Brat's out here telling us what happened because people are still believing Dot. Okay. And again, this is going to be 3/31 of 2024. Now here we are again, going to be going over Brat's interview from 3/31 of 24 on 10/26 of 26, and people are still believing Dot. That's why we're here.
When I was somebody that supported her, I supported her because I thought she was trying to do something good. When I found out that her claims were unfounded and they had nothing to do with this child was okay, and that this person was unearthing and bringing things up from this woman's past and constantly being accusatory to try to rip this child away from their mother. And granted, you have to think that when this child grows up, they're going to go.
Honey, I literally said out of my whole face 5 minutes ago, I don't like Brat. What the frick you mean I'm not acknowledging it? I don't like Brat Norton because she's a liar and a manipulator. What am I not acknowledging? I don't understand.
Oh, and they're going to research their name, and they're going to see videos that this person posted saying that they're mouthing something disgusting. I didn't want to be a part of any of that.
Okay, but I'm saying, what did Brat ask you to do with the Idaho case?
No, but this person, your co-host, just asked me about that, what they're referencing, and I'm telling you, like, that this person has a lawsuit on them. This is the person that Riley is claiming that I trolled. They have a lawsuit against them for claiming these horrible things, and all the documents are there.
Okay, but it's going off into a direction that I'm not familiar with. I don't want to. What did Brat have you? What did Brat ask you?
I'm literally like, the damn Hanson song is literally like in the back of my head right now. Like, I've listened to this clip to go over it and like edit it and get all the oohs and the ums and the stuff out. So it's sort of just like playing, and I'm like trying to see what you guys are talking about. But like now, like y'all said that y'all hear Hanson, and so like in the back of my head, I'm literally hearing it, and I'm like, my foot's going. My ADHD mind must be able to multitask because that was crazy. Okay.
To do, because you said when you first came on here, she's spewing a bunch of lies. She asked me to. What did she ask you to do specifically in regards to?
She just controlled me. She controlled me. What to say, what not to say, when to go into a live, to try to, like, she would give me these ideas and throw them out there, like, and she's like, I don't know why you don't want to get paid. She said that probably 100 times. I don't know why you don't want to get paid for this. You can get paid for this. You don't understand. You can get paid. I got paid like $7,000 from Howard for what I did for the information. He's going to.
No, I don't know if that's the right price. But I know that tomorrow, whenever you watch Brat's interview and Melissa asks her specifically about her relationship with Howie Bloom, whatever, her face says it all. And I'll make sure to pause right whenever I need to, so that you can read the facial expression yourself.
Write this book, like, ooh, you can get paid for this. I'm telling you, girl, like, you could go, and do this and get money for, like, that was all she was about, was money.
It all blew up when you had your cam slip?
No, my cam didn't slip. That video is from something completely different.
Oh,
no. No, I don't know about the amount. But to say that she did anything for free is a damn lie, because she also did that damn docuseries. Okay, she flew out and filmed or whatever the frick she did. Okay, so she also was still working with Howie Bloom, whatever. She says this to Melissa in the live, that she is still working with him. So nothing to do with the Idaho case, but that she was still working with Howie Bloom, whatever. You don't continue working with somebody and it's going on for years and you're not making any money. You're doing it for freezies. I mean, we were not born yesterday. Come on.
I watched that live and your camera was on and you fell
What
asleep.
live?
So they had a live and it was very controversial because Riley was confronting you about who you were and you weren't Dot.
Oh,
And
you're
then
talking
you
about okay, never mind. I'm listening now.
Yes, you fired up a TikTok live and then you fell asleep and it showed a cam slip. And so I watched that. I was there.
A lot of people saw it.
Okay, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So that's when everything went sideways.
No, it didn't go sideways because I was never like, my physical appearance was to protect myself. Like it was nothing like she already knew what I looked like, Brad.
And you'll be able to know that Brat's full of shit tomorrow when this part gets brought up, because she's overly exaggeratingly rolling her eyes and just like, oh my God, it slipped and it wasn't Bridget. Oh my God. It's the fakest freaking reaction, fakest freaking answer. It told me right away. You knew who this person was. You knew what they looked like before that cam slip, and you're trying to play innocent victim. You'll see. I'm not just like talking out my ass. You're going to see it with your own eyes tomorrow.
He knew that you were never the actual person.
Right. Because of the 4chan, she pretended
she didn't.
I had a video conversation with her, video to video chat. She's seen.
People have screen recordings and screenshots. Yes, actually, I think I have a screenshot of it in one of my videos, because we talked about this extensively for months. This entire situation 2 years ago. So I'm sure I have it somewhere. It might even be like on a community tab somewhere.
Me physically as I was, like, she knew like who I was in myself. Like, so when that cam slipped, it didn't matter to me because I knew in my heart what I was trying to do. So when people are like, oh, your cam slipped, you're not who this person was, it was like, I didn't care about the scrutiny I was going to get.
Thank you for the 199 flower child. Thank you.
What I cared about was like, shit, now this person can't really tell their story. And now people aren't going to listen to what their story was. I didn't care about it, who found out who I was, or like I'm not even going to get into the stuff that happened to me. We're not going to go there. It's not about that. But like, it didn't even matter to me. I just was more upset that person was not going to be able to get their story.
That part. And not just in this case. We've seen it though. Like in Kylie Rodney, we had Megan come out with a bunch of crazy stuff. I don't know how much she actually knew. I don't know how much of the stuff that she came out that she said, was actually accurate. But she was somebody who came out and stepped in and said a bunch of crazy stuff in every single case, it seems, over the past like decade. And honestly, this kind of shit happened outside of the internet. Let's not pretend that people inserting themselves into things that they have no right to be inserting themselves in because they have no connection to it whatsoever has been happening since like the literal beginning of time. It's just becoming easier for it to happen and happening more often with the accessibility of the internet. But this happens all the time. This happens all the time, all over the place. We just don't have the ability to see it all as it's going on. We can only see the snippets that actually pass our path. That's it. But this happens all the time. It's really sad.
Out there. I didn't care about what people thought of me. You can think what you want to think of me. It is what it is.
But it all crumbled.
It's so funny. Like, I'm only talking facts. I'm talking facts unless it's about Brat, even though I'm allowing these people to speak themselves. I can't do Delulu. I really just can't. That's fine.
At that time, right? When people figured out who you really were. And did Brat throw you under the bus as if she had
right? Yeah, no, but you're right. It did. It all came to a head because I was no longer able to portray myself as that person because obviously they see me on camera. So yes, in that sense it did. And when that happened, who I thought Brat would be a person that would support me. No, she took the immediate chance to throw me under a bus and say Dot was this, Dot was that, try to blame everything on me. And that was so messed up to do because she was equally as responsible for that scenario.
Yes,
and she took no ownership for that. I take ownership for that. I did, and I do right now. But she took no ownership for that. And that was super messed up. You know what I mean? Because, it's frustrating to watch somebody degrade you and put you down when you knew that they were just as much of a part of that, a scenario.
To say absolutely nothing, right? To say absolutely nothing. Like at the beginning of this, she basically says that they met on 4chan like 7 different ways before she finally changes what she's saying. It's literally like word vomit, word salad, a bunch of nothing, a bag of chips. Yes.
As you were.
What do
and
you
that's
think?
not cool.
Sleuthy is definitely still around. I follow everything that she talks about over on Twitter. They are really deep diving into Delphi right now. She was talking really heavy, or she's still talking really heavy into the Karen Reed thing because of like all of the questions with what really happened to John O'Keefe, I think is his name, right? I haven't followed that case very closely. I just know like the gist of everything. But right now, her and I believe the channel's name is R&M Productions, that really pretty blonde girl. Her and Sleuthy are going through like all of, I believe it's Jerry Hulliman's disposition information. I mean, not disposition. I mean, he's got a effed up disposition, but his deposition information, they're going really heavy into that. I don't know if she's doing stuff on her own YouTube channel or not, but I know that they're really heavy into that right now. Yeah. Okay. It's just he's over there in criminality. That too. Yeah. Everything going on with freaking hidden true crime has really been taken a lot of people's information. I'll just say that I don't like her. I've never liked her. I didn't like what she did with Delphi, how she copyright struck people's information for coming out and talking about stuff that happened with Delphi. I didn't really quite understand the story. I just saw like a woman crying and freaking out about a stalker and like all these things going live with law and crime and all this stuff. And I felt bad for her at first. And again, I'm not like deep diving into that situation, but I'm seeing what people are posting. I'm seeing snippets of things that people are talking about. And maybe I prejudged the feeling bad for her. I don't really know the in-depth of it. I just know that there's a lot of really shitty stuff about this person coming out about the situation. So that's why they're going so deep into it, because there's apparently a lot of true crime people involved. But this is another one of those reasons why I stick to my damn self. Okay. Everything that went on with Brat, this is a perfect example. I'm so glad this is actually being brought up right now. Everything that happened with Brat, all the people that are in chat saying that they were there, that they helped, they were around, like all the things, regardless of if they're arguing with what's happening now or not. These groups of people get together and it causes more chaos, because now instead of it being like a personal situation that doesn't involve the internet and what you do on the internet, you've now involved all of these things to where now you're having to file protective orders against this YouTuber and this screen name is now in my deposition. That's the kind of stupidity that I'm not here for. So I don't talk to people. Like I used to talk to a couple of different people. There is no one out on the internet, on the interwebs right now that is a content creator or anything else that I speak to, because it's not worth it. It's not worth the chaos. It's not worth the drama. It's not worth all of the backstabby boo-boo that always ends up happening in all this, and all of the manipulation that always ends up coming out later, because that's the story. We always see, this group of people, they look like they work so well together. They do all this, all these great things. They do all this stuff. And then 15 years down the line, we have a 9-hour live stream. I stay to myself. Hidden true crime, a YouTuber. There's a bunch of cray stuff going around right now. Another one in the Karen Reed situation. Apparently he's into the whole hidden true crime thing too. It's just too much. Oh my God. Yeah. I don't even know who the frick barbecue people are. Like there's like a barbecue lady in the Sebastian Rogers case, and like the At Night team, and then like the green team of Sebastian's team. I think that's just like the stuff. That's the stuff that I don't care about. None of that stuff. That's why I really haven't done a lot of updates on a bunch of the other cases, because it's all a bunch of just boo-boo, preachy, back and forth. We do have updates in Jack and Lily, and we do have some sort of updates in Sebastian's case, but Sebastian's case really isn't like an official update. It's just something that's sort of been coming out from Nerdy Addict, who went to Tennessee and talked to Chris, the stepdad, and there's like some more information about just some things that could have maybe happened, the reason why maybe Sebastian could have left the house, different things to do with playing maybe flashlight tag. stuff that's not official, but stuff that might be important. Jack and Lily, we have some official updates, but nothing that's going to give us any information. It's when it starts to get like that, it's reflective of this situation. So if you haven't, if you look at those kinds of cases and you look at those situations in those cases and you're just like, what the hell is wrong with people? Why would they do that? Why is this like this? Why does this group of people do this? This is the exact same situation. Exact same situation. This was a group of people that went multiple platforms that got together to orchestrate stupidity for attention and put it behind a paywall. Put it behind a paywall.
What do you think it felt like for Steve to find out people are getting up on panels pretending to be other people, claiming to have seen these innocent people's names were being accused of murder? Innocent.
Probably terrible.
Terrible wouldn't even.
But I never accused anybody of murder ever.
You said you saw specific people at that residence.
Okay, me saying that has no equivalent to saying somebody murdered somebody. That is something that I'm going to make
You're
clear.
leading the
But you said you heard the murder like a bear
I seen
sound.
somebody outside.
All right, what would be the intentions of doing that?
Okay, but no, I want to make this clear. Me saying that I seen somebody outside is nothing of the equivalent of saying I seen somebody in the house committing this atrocious act. So do not go ahead and say that was said, because that's where things get twisted.
Okay.
And that's when things are not okay.
Tell me what you're supposed to take from this. I saw these specific people outside at this specific time. It was shady as fuck the morning.
They were outside, and what I was told, they were outside and they were smoking a joint. There is nothing sinister about that.
And see, that's not even the original story that she came out with as this person. There was a party in the area. I spent the night at wherever the party was. It was my friend's apartment. I walked out at 8 o'clock in the morning to smoke a cigarette and saw people in the backyard of 1122 smoking something. And then it turned into, they were smoking a J. And then it turned into, I was in the backyard smoking with them. And then it turned to, I heard screaming and I saw the wounds and this is what it looked like. And this is the description. It evolved into stupidity real quick. Like real quick.
Specifically even said, from what this person told me, that, you know what, it was like a regular morning. Like they told me there was nothing that gave any inkling that there was a murder that happened. I never said that any of these people were
no, you said you heard a bear, like
a bear
roar.
That's what they said that they said that they heard.
See, that part I didn't know until this. I never heard anything about this person claiming to have heard like a guttural scream or anything like that until this confession. That was a part that like did not hit me during all of this. I knew the other portions, but this whole like hearing something that sounded like a bear or some sort of yelling and some sort of screaming, I didn't know about. And so whenever Brat does her interview, you're going to hear something that if you've been here for a while, you've heard me mention before because I've never gotten an answer for it. She claims that Steve Goncalves told her that at 10:30 in the morning on the day of the murders, that some random number called them yelling and screaming about hearing somebody else yelling and screaming in the woods behind the house. That came from Brat's own mouth, and it will play tomorrow. It's actually said twice in the interview live because she says it herself. And then Melissa brings it back up and asks the question so that to get some more information. And she doesn't really clarify anything, but that's what she's claiming. Steve Goncalves told her that at 10:30 in the morning, a random unknown number called them, doesn't say on social media or on one of their phones, whose phone, Christy, Steve's, doesn't say any of those things, and says, they were just going off and freaking out about hearing screaming in the backyard. But she doesn't clarify. She tries to use this that I don't know if I've ever seen proof of. I don't think that this is in a message. She literally just says this out of her own face, claiming that it was in a phone call that Steve Goncalves said this to her. So she's using this thing that we have no backup for and no proof for, out of her own mouth says there's no proof for, as the reason why she believed Dot's story, because Steve said that he heard someone called and said they heard a scream. So when I heard Dot's story, it just added up and made sense to me. But the 10:30 phone call has no proof. It's like she literally made that up just to make herself look better, give herself an excuse, while also claiming, but I don't have any proof of this. It's just something that you've got to believe me. Trust me, bro.
They said that they heard screams all through the night, but they said I also said it was very normal from what they said. It was very normal for there to be screams going on because there would be parties and domestic violence. So I also said that. So
the comments, it sounded like a bear mauling someone.
That is exactly what this person said.
It was supposed to be in. See, I think that's a really cheap way to get out of it. The same way it's like, listen, I'm not
getting out of anything.
Please, let me finish. I named these people as being there. I am contradicting what the PCA says. I'm making you side eye these surviving roommates, but I just said they were smoking a. I'm not responsible for leading you to believe that they had something that you see how wrong that is. You know exactly what people were going to take when you push that narrative. Not that they were smoking a joint, that holy shit, the PCA is wrong. They're lying. These other people. What about the innocent people that names you just put out there on a lie? On a lie. Did you ask the person for any evidence that you were taking this story from?
Yeah, I did.
Did you get evidence?
I did, but them saying that there were people outside in the backyard, they weren't in the house, nothing. It could have been anybody.
Well, then
anybody could have been out back there.
Then what was so bad about the story that she had to come out with it anyway? If it was just so simple as smoking a joint.
It wasn't so bad. That's what I didn't understand. It wasn't so bad. I didn't understand why she didn't want to come forward with it, or they didn't want to come forward with it. I didn't get that because people, like, there could have been people walking by, sitting, like, people that had been to that house and partied that were like, hey, I'm going to sit on the couch really quick and smoke a joint. Like, it didn't mean they were ever in the house or anything. Like, they are outside. You know what I mean? You don't know what was going on inside. They could have just been
placing them at the scene of the crime at the time that they weren't supposed to be there. How do you think people are going to interpret that?
Well, it was believable to me because they were saying that all these people, they called all these people before 911 was called. All these people came to see what was going on. So it made sense to me when they said that. It was like, okay, that makes sense. Like, people were out there chilling, like, trying to figure out what's going on. That's what made sense to me.
And there's a few of the TikTok creators that are.
Yeah, but not at first. Dylan and Emma and Demetrius didn't become part of the story until after. At first, it was literally just like they noticed people smoking, and they didn't name any names. They didn't say anything. It was just very generic. All that stuff, just like WSU Kim came out with like a base story, and then the more people that came out with their own theories and the more information that came out, her story sort of evolving. And every time something new came out, oh, Kim had something to say about that too. Okay, it was literally everything. There was something for everything. Same situation.
And chat right now that I actually trust that we're on to your story. And
what do you mean onto my story? What
they didn't believe it. They didn't believe who you were.
We're not even talking about that. We're talking about what Brett presented to Steve. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about.
But you wanted to come up here and say your side of it because.
But I'm not coming up here saying I'm some innocent person, and I'm like.
I understand that.
But I'm trying to convey to you that what was being said to Steve was not things that I specifically said.
But it wasn't ever supposed to be you. It was supposed to be the other person.
Correct.
So
yeah, I keep forgetting to go back and watch that clip. What video clip? You mean the one on Dateline that looks like it's inside Sigma Chi? See, I still have to go back and listen to that. I'm going to listen to that before we go live tomorrow with Bratz. I have it written down and just keep forgetting. And honestly, I was supposed to do it today or last night and get it added to this, but then the whole cat situation happened. And I was otherwise occupied. But I'm going to listen to that one before we go live tomorrow.
Did the other person say it?
What do you mean? Did the other person say it? I don't know where she got that stuff from. I don't know what she did and who she talked to. I don't know if she talked to that other person. I have no clue.
I thought she were you the
Okay. I know what you're talking about now. Okay.
three of you not collabing on this together?
No, it wasn't a collaboration. It was this person wanting to tell their story and me willing to do it, and Brad knowing both of us. I don't know if she went and talked to that other person while she was talking to me. I have no clue. Like, we didn't have conversations like that. So maybe.
See, and this part's the stupidest part, because she's basically like, I don't know if Brat was talking to the person that she wanted me to impersonate while she was talking to me at the exact same time. Why wouldn't she be having conversations with the both of you? If this other person exists, which I doubt, why, if you're trying to say, if your story, if your version of this is that you and Brat were in this group thing and this person was in there and her and Brat, or this person and Brat were trying to figure out how to get this person's story out, why would you then come out and say something so ignorant like, well, I don't know if she was talking to both of us at the same time. I don't know that. We didn't have conversations like that. Wouldn't it just make common sense that y'all would be like, what? That's another thing with this person, is that even the commonsensical things don't click. And she says things to try to make her story sound believable or give herself some sort of excuse that you cannot logically make fit knowing the details, because that's not how reality works.
She was talking to that other person.
So how active was this other person when you would go up on these panels and you would say the story? How active was the other person contributing to what you were saying and putting out?
I mean, they weren't actually in the chats, but they gave me their information and the things that they were saying for a while, and then they kind of died down a little bit. And honestly, when it happened, I started to think in the back of my head, you know what? Maybe this is actually Brat. There's something that crossed my mind, like maybe Brat is actually this other person and wants to give me this story to say it, but then I could take the fall for it, and she can get all this clout and all this fame and all this money, and then everything could be directed and pointed at me, and then like I'm this loser that just trolled people. That's what crossed my mind. I don't know what really happened. And
that's their version. Again, I don't know if the person on 4chan exists. I don't know. I don't know how far that part goes. But the story is fake. Everything that she's claiming about how it all came together doesn't make sense. There's no receipts to stuff. I just don't understand how you could be so old in life, because this is not a young person. This is not some sort of college person that you can try to give a bunch of dumbass excuses to. This is a very well-aged human. Definitely aged enough to know better.
I don't really care what really happened anymore. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it is what it is, and it's done what it's done. And I don't want to be affiliated with her, and I want to move forward and do what I can do to make things better.
Though, these are the ramifications and consequences of your actions.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's completely fine. I'm just saying that when messages are being read, unless you have proof,
please send the rest. If I am missing something, the full context, send it.
But what I'm saying to you is that you're reading messages that she's saying to Steve without there's no proof of any of that behind of what I'm saying.
That's my entire point, is it not? That she is feeding this to the victim's dad, and it's all bullshit.
I never knew she was even talking to the victim's dad. And never would I, if she would have ever.
See, that's the part that really pisses me off the most. I spent a lot of time, not really like a lot of time, but a lot of the conversations and the messages back and forth between me and Kara, Xana's mom, is her asking me about things that other people would send her that was nonsensical like this, and me having to counteract that with common sense, with information from the court documents, with the facts of the case, to prove that the bullshit that people were throwing at her constantly in comments, in her Facebook Messenger, like she would have to block, I don't even know how many people a day, because they would send her the most outlandishly ridiculous things. if you are going to put yourself in a position to be speaking to one of the family members of a victim like this, the disservice and the disgusting taste of what you're doing when you're sitting here pushing a bunch of falsities, that's not what you should, that's not the goal. The goal is to make sure that they understand, at least for me, that they understand the facts so that they know what not to delve into, what not to freak out about, what not to get paranoid about, what not to dig too deep into, because there's nothing there. It's just a bunch of crazy with no receipts. So many things. Like I'm just seeing all these messages in my head just like go through from them really being alive somewhere, it happening, and like, and granted, like, we don't know really the truth. We don't have a timeline on anything. But whenever you're just like throwing a bunch of bullshit theories that have no stance that you heard from some random ass username on a Reddit straight at the parents' freaking DM, you have a freaking problem. You have a mental issue. None of that is ever okay. You don't just take something that you heard for 30 seconds, do no research, and then throw it at somebody about their freaking child like it's a fact, and then just go to sleep at night like everything's fine and you didn't just cause a bunch of chaos for no reason. I could never be that type of person. I don't understand that. And Dot will literally say in the live tomorrow, while she is telling Steve, I 1000% believe her, I am so sorry. She's sitting here saying, oh, there were so many red flags. Even at this point, I just wasn't 100% sure. But you're telling Steve that you're not just 100. You're telling him that you're 1000% sure. While telling him that while he's sending you screenshots of things and asking you, hey, have you seen this? Do you know what this is? You're making up the most insane, oh my God, he's got a mask on, all kinds of crazy shit that you possibly can think of. And then laughing about it like it's just so funny, the chaos that you started.
Said to me, like, hey, I know you're telling the story for this person. I'm talking to the victim's dad. I would immediately been like, wait a minute. No, we're not doing that. He should talk directly to this person.
I agree.
I would have never wanted to have anything. Honestly, when she mentioned maybe she was talking to Steve, I didn't believe her. I mean, it was very unbelievable to me that she would be talking to, you know, the father of these victims. Like, I didn't believe it. So I had no idea she was relaying all these things. Like, you can have a personal conversation with your co-host tonight and say, these are my theories, this, that, and the other. And if she went and she projected them to the family member, when you're having a personal conversation, that is on her. Like, me having a private conversation, not having any clue.
See, I agree with this point. Like, I don't know what was true about what Dot and Brat talked about behind the scenes. But if the story that's being actually said to Steve Goncalves is coming from Brat, it is completely 1000% on Brat for being the one who relayed this false story. Why she did it, again, that's why we're going over Dot's exact words, and you're going to hear Brat's exact words tomorrow, and then you can come up with whatever you want to about that. I just don't believe either side 100%, and you shouldn't believe either side 100% either, because at the end of the day, they're both lying. The story is false, and they're both lying.
That those things being said would be put out there, like, as a whole different situation. If I would have known the things that I was saying would have been put towards a grieving father, I would have never talked to her.
What did you think was... Okay, that part I don't understand. You're saying you came out because this person desperately was scared. This person desperately needed to get their story out. And that is what your purpose was. And then you say you're shocked that it ended up back at the victim's father. Who else was it for then? Just YouTube entertainment, TikTok entertainment? It would.
And that's the other thing. This isn't just like a victim's father. This is a victim's father that was out there all over the internet talking to different creators, Brett Norton's even going to say tomorrow, he would tell me stuff, and then the next day JLR would post it on Twitter. There is a group of people that Steve, even people that didn't have a platform, when it came to, I think it was the Garrett report, the Garrett Discovery report, I had somebody tell me that they don't even like really put stuff out. Like they're in the true crime, they're in the comments, they do a lot of research and talk about stuff like in like forums and maybe stuff like that, Facebook, stuff like that, but they don't come out here and like do videos. Even this person got an email from Steve Goncalves trying to push the Garrett Discovery stuff because he just has like a whole bunch of people on a list that he sends a bunch of shit out to. So while he was saying a bunch of stuff to Brat, he was also going around and saying a whole bunch of stuff to a whole bunch of other people too. That's why I also hold Steve accountable for a lot of the bullshit, because he said himself that he would come out and not get any information from the state, not get any information from anything that was an actual source, go out and get his own information and then spread it like it was fact. And now he's having to come back and backtrack a lot of stuff, which is probably why he's been so quiet lately. Remember the Wi-Fi incident? You're an IT man. You know if the Wi-Fi being touched or not is legit or not. So the fact that you pushed that narrative for over 2 years that Bryan Kohberger's phone touched your daughter's house's Wi-Fi just for you to come out and be like, I had it wrong, and then push it aside and come out and spread a false narrative about Hunter Johnson and Ethan being behind the door and all the crazy shit when that's not truth whatsoever. That's even talked about like in these messages between him and Brat, the story, the lie that the Goncalveses came out and told about Ethan being behind Xana's door and Hunter being called over because the girls couldn't get the door open, and so he had to manhandle it. That all came from them. So everybody has their own level of accountability here. And yes, I understand that Steve is the father of a murder victim, and it's horrible that she was sending him all this stuff. But he also didn't help the situation by then taking things and spreading them all over the place without vetting or validating anything either. This whole thing is just such a damn mess. Almost every aspect is dirty. Ugh.
Have been to get the truth to these victims' families, to law enforcement. So how are you going to say
no to law enforcement? Yeah, to law enforcement, yes.
To not the victims' families,
right? Not. I didn't think she was talking to a family member. No, to law enforcement.
Get to them either way,
right? But not in the fashion of the way that Brat was doing it. Going to law enforcement and saying, "Hey, this person has something to say, and this is what they're claiming," and having law enforcement bring whoever in to talk about is different.
They would have came to you. What were you going to do when they come knock on your door thinking you're the person you say you are? What were you going to do?
Yeah.
I was going to explain to them what I'm explaining to you right now.
You do know it.
I was going to run the lie until I got the feds knocking on my door, and then I was going to be like, bro, it was just some anonymous person on 4chan. I thought I was being a hero. Come on.
It's illegal what you did, right?
What is illegal?
You impersonated somebody.
Who did I impersonate?
Y'all came out trying to push that this was supposed to be Bridget, who is a real human, that is a real friend to Dylan Mortensen. And I don't know who it was in the chat earlier, but y'all can go back, scroll, and they'll even say, because of the information that we heard from Dot, we thought it could be Bridget. So they're even admitting that they were there for all of this stuff. They had no actual proof that it was Bridget, but because they thought it could be Bridget based off of bullshit being said, that's why they pushed the fact that it was, because that's what they thought. Again, a bunch of people pushing a bunch of unvalidated, not vetted information, and it caused nothing but a bunch of chaos. Why would you do that? If you couldn't fully confirm it, why would you do that? Why would you push that? Because it was easy? Because it gave you the connection that you needed and it was close enough? Close enough is not good for 145 when the girls really got home at 156. Close enough is not good for anything.
Did you not give the details of an actual person who lived next to the house? An actual
person. So you're claiming that the person that
I'm not claiming, this is what you guys
you're saying that the person that I spoke for isn't true then.
No, you are not that person.
That. You can't impersonate.
No. You are not that person. That's what I'm saying. That's impersonation.
It's all lies.
How is it impersonation when somebody asks you to do that?
It doesn't. Someone could ask me to kill. Does that make it not illegal? Because I was asked.
She's so exaggerative.
That's not an argument. That's
Hey, AR.
That's nothing of an
Exactly.
argument.
It's not an argument. You were asked to do. I'm sorry. Can you go shoplift that Snickers? Oh, officer, I was asked to shoplift.
Okay, so what are stories?
What?
What are stories?
You don't tell stories in the middle of a murder investigation.
Wait, in the middle of a murder investigation, what do you?
Homicide.
Did I say anything criminal happened?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
What did I say criminal happened?
Oh, girl,
Are you
if you want to
kidding
do a
me?
fucking live specific.
What did I say criminal happened? Did I say that I seen anything criminal?
You lied.
Well, thanks for the 5, Christian. Did you get my email about the prosecutor in Kootenai County? I just learned about it the other day. Did you know it? I've heard no one talk about it. I haven't checked a lot of my emails. I have a lot of them with stars on them that I have to go back and read, but I'll get back to you. Hopefully by tomorrow, I'll be caught up on my emails and I'll be able to get back to you. I think I did see something with something in there about a prosecutor, but I didn't read the whole thing, but I'll get back to you.
About something that I don't know how you rest your head at night. See, you tell me, oh, I thought I was doing it for the right reasons. You're sitting here and you want to say, because this is the time to own up, you want to say that you verified the person you were talking to. You actually saw evidence that what they were saying were legit, or did you just take their word for it? Were you a little too quick to just jump on board?
Yeah, maybe I did, because I have a heart, and
that's their excuse the whole time. I was vulnerable. I'm a good person. I was being a hero. I have a heart. That's what they're going to keep with. That's their story. And they're going to stick to it.
So you didn't get evidence. So you
No, I didn't, and I admitted to that because
Dylan's dad's name is Brad, I thought. But there's a Mortensen that's a prosecutor in Kootenai County. I'm sure that would have been brought up by now. But her dad's name is Brad. Holy shit. There sure is. There is a Mortensen. Well, isn't that interesting? Brent. That's it. Yeah, Brent Mortensen is Dylan's dad. Yeah, I didn't look to know. That's interesting. I don't know if he's related to them or not. The spelling's the same, the double E. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, bald guy with the glasses. So you've seen it. Oh, where'd it go? Yeah. Oh my God, I'm still not clicking the right comment. There it goes. Yeah. That's crazy. Hey girl, how you doing? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're related. Not the same bloodline. Same spelling? Huh. Yeah, I didn't know. I had heard a couple of things, but I never really paid much attention unless I had like a direct connection. But yeah, I mean, the same spelling is interesting, but it could just be a thing. There's a lot of people with the same last name. But yeah, no, Dylan's father's last name, I knew it started with a B. It's Brent. I think we actually did a video about him at some point. I'm seeing like the picture on the thumbnail that we used of him taking a selfie in some bathroom. Like father, like daughter, I guess.
I have a heart. So.
No, you don't. That's the thing. You don't.
You don't know. You don't know me.
We have two sets of names that we're considering. This is almost over, and then I'm going to get the kitty so you guys can see them.
Actions speak louder than words. So
you don't know a single thing about me, or
they are just going to like kind of go back and forth for like a minute. But I'm putting it on. That's why I didn't play the second clip on here, because it's a lot of this kind of stuff, like real emotional, like yelling and screaming and stuff like that. Especially on Braden's part, Dot's part. But this portion I'm showing you because there's one very specific thing that Melissa says to her that triggers her to get off. And this is such a very non-big thing that she says. So her reaction is interesting because it tells a lot. See if you can catch it.
This situation.
I watched you cry saying how
you did. You watched me cry,
and
right?
it was a lie.
Okay,
It was-
it
it
was a
wasn't
lie
you.
to you.
It wasn't you. It wasn't your story. You're admitting that. So yes, that wasn't real.
Okay.
And it's terrifying. That's terrifying. You cried on a panel about how much this has affected you, and it didn't happen.
But it
was a
affected
lie.
me because of who I spoke to.
But that person is not even verified to be true. How do we know anything about that person if their story is true or not?
So yeah, I trusted somebody. And
They didn't bother. In her own story, she's, again, her version of this is that she's yet a victim again, even because she was just trying to play the hero to somebody. And she just believed this person without getting any facts, without finding out who they really were, anything like that. That's her version of this.
I was in the wrong for trusting somebody.
But you
That
are your
doesn't mean
own
that my heart
person.
wasn't in the right place.
If your heart's in the right place, then you encourage somebody to go directly to law enforcement. You don't
They didn't
impersonate somebody.
want to.
You
You
don't
don't
tell
know that
lies.
situation
You
unless
cause
you're
a
in that.
lot of shit.
I didn't cause anything.
I didn't cause anything. What? How do you come out here and in the middle of a confession then say, I didn't cause anything? It was horrible. I feel so bad about it. I regret it. I didn't cause anything. If I knew that it was going to end up like this, if I knew that it was going to start this, if I knew that it was going to go this way, if I knew this person was going to be talked to, but I didn't cause anything.
You didn't cause anything.
I didn't speak to Steve or
Say that to
anybody.
Chrissy.
I didn't cause
you owe
any.
them an apology. You want to be able to move forward.
Who
and
is them?
defend
Who
yourself?
is them?
The victims' families. Do you not see the messages that we were just going through? Do you not realize the impact that
They
had on
are
that
from
man?
Brat.
It's still you were.
Yeah, she admitted that she lied over a year ago. And for some reason, certain channels are coming out here and pushing this narrative like it's truth. Again, all this time later, and I don't quite understand because we've got this person and the person that helped her push it admitting that it's false. And it's been out there for the people to watch forever.
Part of it. You and Brett are equally responsible. Just
We
because you're
saw
putting your
you
finger
on
at
the
Brett
lives.
does not make you any less responsible. You both can be pieces of shit at the same time. I don't care if you sit here and say, well, Brat messaged that. You were part of it. You were part of it. It was a lie. And this man was manipulated in the hardest, most horrific point in his life. For what?
You don't know what happened off camera.
What happened that would justify?
So
what
for
did?
you to make assumptions when you don't know what happened off camera, just
Tell
because
us.
you know what you see,
Tell us, what are we missing?
that is true ignorance.
What are
When
we
you
missing?
just
I
believe
asked
you
you
to
to send receipts.
Gather
Did I
what
not?
you received. Did you ever ask me for them?
Yes. How many times did I ask?
Did you ever try to search to find me to ask me for
Why the
receipts? No,
fuck
you
would I
didn't.
search to find you?
Bro, I put the shit in the beginning of the damn videos. The 5-minute clips that I have out, it literally says in all 12 of them, FYI, the house that you're looking at is not 1122. It's 1119. 1122 is behind the camera. And I will still have people in the freaking comments asking, what house are we looking at right now? Where is 1122 in reference to this camera? So did you just like fast forward through the literally first 17 seconds of the video and jump into like whatever timestamp and not even pay attention to what you were looking at? I miss the days of common sense. I really do.
If you are claiming that you are
You're
a
a
true
troll.
person that seeks truth, then wouldn't you have come
Okay.
to try
You
to
never
find
said the
who I
truth
was
from the
to get
moment you
receipts?
came on
No.
a platform. You don't know the truth from your own fucking ass. You're nuts.
Laugh it off. Yeah, go ahead.
Go
Take some
ahead.
more low blows.
Low blows. Her calling her nuts is where she's like, it's in the heart now. She's about to jump off. This is almost over. Her being called mentally unstable, a nutcase basically, is what triggered her the most to jump off of here. Telling, isn't it?
What?
Go
low
ahead.
blow?
I know you
what
need
did
to
I
get it
say?
out. So go ahead.
What-
Say some more
What?
stuff.
Go ahead. Give me.
Call
the
me
answer.
more
What low
names.
blow? What
Because I'm
name
not
did I-
calling y'all names.
What name did I
Call
call
me
you?
more names.
What name did I call you?
And then the way,
Hey, everybody.
the way that Shay laughs. Yeah. Yeah. So again, I don't know why there's channels out here pushing the fact that Dot is some poor ignored witness and people didn't listen to her. And oh my God, this has to be the truth. No. In her own admittance, it's a fabricated tale. At nuts. She was like, I'm out of here. All right, I'm gonna Zelda's asleep on the bed. I'm gonna let her. She's not liking the cats yet, but again, it's only been 24 hours, and this was her house for like ever, so I know it's gonna take a minute. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the other little kitties so you guys can see the little kitties real quick. So give me a second. I'll probably bring the orange one in here first. I'll be right back. Here's the widow babies. See the widow babies? She's a talker. She doesn't like being held, really. She likes to run around. It's okay. We're either going to name her Ember or Peaches. Those are the two in the running at this moment in time. Where are you going? You can't do that. No, you can't do that. Eek. Here, say hi. Meow. Here, take her. Bring me the white one. I got Bug helping me. My oldest son. Zelda's on the bed like, what are you doing in my room? Okay, now here's a little white one. She's not really that little. And I don't think that she's mom. I just think that she's like surrogate mommy. It's okay. It's okay. She's got like some orange dots on her ears a little bit. So she might be the biological mother. But my sister has a female orange cat, and her vet told her that both parents have to be fully orange in order for there to be a female, because the female oranges are like really rare. I don't know. But she's like real docile. She's real sweet. She's real dainty. So her possible names are either Ash or Calypso. So it's either going to be Ash and Ember, because those two go together, or it's going to be Calypso and Peaches. That's used. See, look. And she always has this like furrowed brow, whatever you call it. Want to go? Okay, here, take her back in the living room. Oh. And then I'll let y'all see Zeldy real quick, so hold on. Here's fat butt. Look at the fatness. She's so big now. Look. Look how big she is. Wobble, 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 wobble. This is my bubba. Every time I go in there, I have to like love on her. So she knows that she's my favorites. Okay, you can go back to the bed. Oh, she's gotten so heavy. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm gonna play this and I'm gonna get out of here. Please do not forget to leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already. All right, you guys. See y'all tomorrow.